My second child was outside the window, 8-story high, outside the balcony grill, and he was hanging there. I have this 4-month baby on my arm. I couldn't run. I looked at my helper. My helper looked at the balcony. The helper looked at the other helper, looked at the other helper, looked at the other helper.
Who's that? Oh, it's you guys! Hey everyone, welcome and join us on this journey of Singapura, not Tempura, where we are your best companion, all things Singapura and beyond.
Deep dive with us into the heart of the Lion City, exploring the vibrant culture with a dash of Singaporean spice.
How about her? Good or not?
Share and subscribe!
See you on the airwaves! Welcome into another episode of Singapura, not Tempura. We are so excited to have Dr. Deibby today with us on the show. Dr. Deibby, welcome into the show.
Hi,
Hello,
Joshua.
Dr. Deibby.
Hello, Joshua. Hi, everyone.
And Dr. Deibby is an amazing person, but also she's an amazing mom. You know, we often joke about our friends, you know, say like, hey bro, you look autistic, yeah. Hey bro, you look autistic leh. What's he doing? But do you know that autism itself is not a joke per se, and it can be really heavy. And what more when you have a child who suffers from autism. Autism is a very, very serious thing. And so today we have to ask Dr. Deibby, who has 4 children.
Yes.
Right? 2 of them were autistic, and 2 are
Normotypical.
normal kids. Dr. Deibby, how's your family like?
We have an amazing family. We love our kids, the ones with the special ones and the ones that is like super special ones. Yeah, and we have like, we love each other, we support one another, and this is a journey, right?
So it's been a long time that you've been dealing with
Yes.
your children and with all their needs and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. And so actually, you know, Dr. Deibby herself is a doctor, but she branched out to understand about autism
Yes.
due to your kids, right?
Yeah, so from emergency medicine all the way to the other side to learn about nutrition and lifestyle and doing functional health services.
So currently, that is your profession.
So now I am a functional doctor.
So that is your full-time job.
Yeah.
If you may say, where do you work?
I'm in Funan,
Funan.
in Funan Mall.
So if they want to find you, where can they find you?
They can find me in BrainWorks Singapore.org. That's
Okay.
where my website is.
Okay.
And you can must have an appointment, okay? There is no walk-ins.
So what do you treat in that sense?
Autism.
Oh, so it's
Yeah,
like
so
if
I learned from
someone's-
my kids' story, and now I am blessing other people who have kids like my kids.
Wow, you see, there we go, guys. Don't let your life challenge numb you and put you out of the game, but instead, you take down the challenge and you turn it into your own game.
Yes.
Your victory name, all right? So, Dr. Deibby, what is your specialty? What do you do?
So I am a functional practitioner. So I do functional health care for my patients.
Functional health practitioner, in what part of health?
So my biggest concern is actually on the brain. I was a practitioner in emergency medicine. I was trained as emergency practitioner, and I left the field because of my 2 kids was diagnosed with autism.
Okay.
And I was like heartbroken, and I was just thinking, oh my God, this is my fault because I was working and I didn't have time for them, and they are now like this. I have to just leave everything behind, and I just focus on them. So during that time, I was trying to help. I went to all these like speech therapy, behavioral therapy, all this occupational therapy, spent many hours doing that every day, and they didn't improve. So I realized that I need to take things into my hand, and I started learning about the biology, about the metabolism on the children with autism, about how their gut condition, the brain condition, and I started to figure out what I can do with their nutrition, and that's what led me to functional health.
You mentioned being a functional mental health
practitioner. So mental health is just subjective, right?
Okay.
It is a subject. So what I'm doing is basically a general functional health. And then I'm looking after now kids who are like my kids. You know, so
Having
basically
autism.
with autism,
I
correct.
see. Right, and that is like your, was that your background? Like were you went to
My
school
background,
in
I went to
Indonesia?
medical school in University of Indonesia in Jakarta.
In UOI.
UI.
UI, they call
Yeah,
it.
University of Indonesia.
I forgot the O, but so it's UI in Indonesia.
And after that, I came here and I had my emergency medicine training in National University
NUH?
Hospital. Yeah.
Okay, and then?
And then
You
after
met your
that,
husband in Singapore,
I
heard.
met my husband. My first day in NUH.
Your first day in NUH?
Yeah, it was love at first sight for him.
Wow.
It was he was very persistent in his pursuit, and finally I got to tell him, you need to love my God in order for you to date me.
Right,
And
I see.
he was like, okay,
So should men be persistent when they chase a girl?
I think so. For a great cause, right?
So you think that will help?
Oh, definitely. Because I didn't even want to go out with him before that.
So, but at the time he texted you or what?
The first time he texted me,
Yeah.
but later on we meet up. We had a lot, because we were doctors in the same hospital, right? There are a lot of things to talk about. We share about our cases, but it was friends, right? But later on, then he was like, "Oh, would you? Can you date me?" You know. But then he persistently, and in the same time, he kept his
Boundaries.
But he was where I want him to be. I was like, you are there, okay? So he was there. So he was very respectful, I would say.
Right. That can mean many things. But so you have 4 kids.
We have 4 kids now.
4 kids helping Singapore's aging population. I like some of that. Very nice. And that is Dr. Deibby for you.
Yeah, so we have 2 more children because the first 2 were autistic, so we want to have playmates for them. So we decided that you know, we can't really get the cousins to come. We can't really get our friends' kids to come and play with them. We cannot even send them to school because they don't have any speech and they don't really understand instruction and things like that. So we're like, the best way is actually have our own kids. So we decided on having 2 more.
You are your factory. Help Singapore's population grow. Dr. Deibby here is a doctor. Today she wanted to ask today about a story, right?
Yeah, it's
about
my journey as a parent.
personal experience.
Yeah.
So doctor, hit us up. What is it about?
I had 2 children. At that time, they were very young. One was almost 3, the other one was 1.5.
Okay.
And then we found out that they don't really speak, they don't really follow instruction, they don't know what to play, they don't know how to play like other kids. My eldest son was able to talk, was able to play, but after a viral infection, both of them actually, one lost the speech and lost the ability to understand the situations around him and understand what is the feeling of other people, how to actually have a two-way conversation. And the younger one just didn't develop at all. The younger one was later on got diagnosed with GDD, Global Developmental Delay, and then later on he got diagnosed with severe autism. The eldest one had the diagnosis of speech delay and later on got diagnosed with autism. This was heartbreaking because me and my husband, we are both doctors, and you know, our parents, people around us tell us that, why do you let this happen to you? And then we are like, you know, it's very painful because we didn't want this to happen. And it seems like we are at fault. And we were like, and we even got angry and got upset and angry with God. Why you let this happen to us? What did I do wrong that I got into this situation? So it was a very painful, it's very painful for us. It was a spiraling down experience that I couldn't help myself. At one point in my life, I was like unable to wake up in the morning because I need, what I will face is something that I cannot change. So that was, I would say, the lowest point of our lives, because at that time, me and my husband, we had there's like a wall between us, because I look at him, he looked at me, we are faced each other. I knew how he feels, he knew how I feel, but then none of us actually can break through that an invisible wall. I can feel like other parents also might feel the same with us, because there's as couple, then both of your kids now seemingly have kids that will forever be in your responsibility because they cannot look after themselves. So autism has many different manifestations, and in my children, one has moderate to severe and the other one had a severe autism. And it also means that they cannot sleep at night, they will cry, they will have meltdowns. So my second child initially was diagnosed with global developmental delay.
Okay.
And later on, then of course, then we were able to have the diagnosis of severe autism. You know, so it was heartbreaking.
In a sense, in a way, so your eldest kid, he had a viral infection.
So both of them together, they had bronchiolitis, and after that, the symptoms of bronchiolitis, they were getting better, but for some reason, they just never get better.
I see. So is autism, is it like a mental health thing, or is it?
Okay, so the thing about after all my learnings about autism, then I got to know that there's a lot of reasons, that a lot of, and then one of them could be a biological change in the body, in the brain, because of a viral infection.
Oh, I see, I see. Okay. So that's the idea of autism itself. So the brain functioning.
So the function of the brain just altered because of something.
I see, and that makes them so cool.
It could be genetic, it could be the change because of trauma or because of a very severe infection.
And it can happen in any stage of one's life?
I would say that the younger, the more susceptible.
To autism?
Yeah, if let's say for instance somebody like got hit by a train or got hit by a car, and then the part of the brain that is responsible for socialization and the part of the brain that is responsible for controlling emotion and got affected, the person might end up looking like they are autistic.
Fantastic. We'll come back with more from Dr. Deibby. Being a parent, I'm not a dad yet, but you know, we can try to sympathize and try to see from a parent's point of view, whereby, you know, when it happens to your child, probably the parent will be hit the most with the most negative emotions that you can ever imagine. And so now, Dr. Deibby, right, you mentioned that you were feeling very depressed, very out of place, right? Like, could you still eat and sleep peacefully every day?
It was very hard. I told you about it. I couldn't even wake up in the morning knowing that, you know, I'm going to face another day where my kids doesn't understand me, my kids doesn't know even to sit down or eat on the dining table, and my kids doesn't even say a single word.
So just like quiet the whole day?
No, they will scream, they will shout, but then there is no word.
I see. So they can't understand what we're trying to teach them, and so on and so forth. And so there's a delay in their growth, in a sense.
I would say that there is an alteration in the way their brain works, function. Yeah.
I see. And so, in a way, when do you start to change your behavior and your outlook towards your kids, and to start to have more hope?
Yes.
Start to live life more energetically and more empowered. What happened? What changed?
So for a period of time, which is quite long, I was in that kind of situation, and then I had a discussion with my husband. There is no way that I will go on and have the same kind of approach when it doesn't work. I would like to go out there and then find out what is available out there. So I started my journey around the world, basically. I contacted all these doctors that write books about autism, or the ones that see autistic patients. North America is probably one of the one that has like the most studies on autism. So I went there from Portland to Connecticut to New York to Boston to so many different places. basically it's like a pan-American trip to figure out what people doing in their clinics and what people do in their practices, what they do, whether it make any change. And it really bring me a lot of a wealth of knowledge, and that's when I started to help the kids. Then after that, I was still like not really very hopeful because I don't really see much changes.
Okay.
But the one that really changed at that time was I was at home, and I remember at that time I already have my baby, my third and my fourth baby. The baby was in my lap. I was feeding my eldest child, and then he was pointing out, and I was like, what's that? And I turned around and I saw my second child was outside the window, 8-story high, outside the balcony grill, and he was hanging there.
Okay.
And between him and the floor, on the ground floor, there is nothing in between. I was so scared.
Hysterical.
It was like the scariest moment of my life.
Okay.
I couldn't drop the baby. I have this 4-month baby on my arm. I couldn't run. I looked at my helper. My helper looked at the balcony. The helper looked at the other helper. Both of them looked at the balcony, and both of them ran in the same time. One caught the feet, the other one caught the hands, and they managed to bring Joshua back.
Oh, so he's safe, right?
Yeah, so at that time, you know, I was like thinking that I'm so grateful that he is still with me. So I told God, I don't care that he still cannot understand me. I don't care he plays with his poops. I don't care that he doesn't know what he's doing, but he's with me. At that moment, I felt that I can accept anything as long as he is still with me.
And so that was when you started to change.
So that's when I started to change, and I realized that, hey, I have him. And then, you know, my kids are with me. I can still do something if my kids still with me.
I see. You know, we see a lot of parents saying like, we know when the kids pass away, when your children pass away before the parent does, and the parent buries their kid instead. You know, that is a lot of pain for a mom or a dad, and they call out the kid's name, but the kid no longer responds, right? And there's a lot of pain for parents. You know, when mom always tell me that when I was like 1 or 2 years old, I was thrown into the deep pool by accident, and somehow someone saved my life. But of course, I don't know who, right? If I was not safe, I wouldn't be here right now. Similarly, for my own younger brother, there was a point in time whereby we went to the Singapore Zoo, right? And he sat on the ledge of the bridge, and below was full of crocodiles. And then he was just 2 or 3 years old. And thank God no one pushed him, or he never pushed himself down. And instead, my mom picked him up again. And you see, parents love their kids such a way that sometimes we can't explain with words, right? So now you talk about your side. You know, you saw your kid, you saved your kid. What does it bring back to you? What does it feel like? Yeah,
so actually it reminded me on an accident that me and my father experienced. I was 19, it was in Jakarta.
19?
Yes, and
19,
we were in the car in
You are still 19
Gunung
now,
Sahari.
right?
Thank you very
Looks
much.
really young. Okay, great.
Thank you. I am 47 this year.
She revealed the number, guys. I didn't say anything.
Yes. I'm happy. I'm proud with my how I've been aging gracefully.
I'm proud up to 25.
Yes.
All right.
So we were in the car passing through this Gunung Sahari, and then we were hit by a train.
In the mountaintop?
No, in the road.
On the road?
In Gunung Sahari Road.
You were in a car? In
the car. We were in the car, and the car passes by this
train
track that was. There is no gantry on it.
And then?
So we pass it, and the train just hit the car.
Smashed it like that?
Yes.
Oh my
I
goodness.
was thrown out of the car 15 meters in the air into the river.
The car had no roof?
No, the car has roof. I went through the windshield.
Wow!
Yes.
Talk to me about an action film.
Yes,
You
it's
went
like Jackie
through
Chan. Yes.
15 feet?
15 meters.
15 meters up in the air,
and then landed at the river.
In the river?
The very dirty river, Kali Ciliwung.
Could you still? I mean, was there rocks inside? You know, like do you hit a rock?
No, I went to the water. I went into the water.
You land in the water.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I lost my consciousness, but according to the report, actually I was saved by the squatters under the bridge. The pemulung.
Okay.
Those people that collect rubbish.
Is this on the news?
Yeah, it was in the news
It's
at
on the
that
news.
time
Okay.
in 1997.
And then?
Then my father, he was at the front next to the driver. The driver was my uncle.
Okay.
He fell to the side, and then his leg got caught between the bridge and the car.
Oh.
And that severed his leg. And he plunged onto the river as well. But unlike me, he has to fight for his life, because at that time I didn't know anything.
Yes.
He fought for his life. He was like, he got into like one of those floating, something that floats, and then he was able to scream, and then somebody took him to the hospital. And he was like, he lost a lot of blood because it's a major limb that got severed, right?
Okay.
And at that time, I think that I was in between life or death. And then the thing is that I had like even the near-death experience. I felt like I was in a very good place. I was like in a mother's womb. It was very safe, secure, nothing else I wanted.
So you felt like you were not in this world anymore?
I felt I was not in this world anymore. It was
something?
real. It was real. It
Then
was
you could
like
see it,
3D.
you
I
see
can
it.
feel it. I can see
Tangible.
it. It was tangible. And
my
then there
God.
was like a light coming and then
Okay.
enveloped me and took me to the hospital. I can see it entered my body. And the moment I opened my eyes, I hear my father screaming, "Deibby! Deibby! Deibby!" And when I felt that my father brought me back to life. My father's prayer and longing brought me back to life. And then, you know, in my misery, I thought that it's, you know, I am the cause of my father's accident, because he come and visited me when I was in University of Indonesia, right?
Yeah.
Come from Manado and then all that. And when I was in this kind of self-hatred, self-condemnation, so much negative energy, I heard my father saying to his friend that, you know, you don't have to comfort me. You know what? I'm fine. My daughter is alive.
Wow.
And this is the kind of unconditional love that finally I understand, and I can feel it for my children.
Right. And your dad lost his leg.
Yeah, so it's totally severe.
So he has to live his whole life on a wheelchair.
Yeah, he needs to live his whole life now. I mean, at that time, he was able to still use some crutch. He was able to have prosthesis, but now cannot. No, so now he's in the wheelchair.
I see.
Yeah.
And so that impacted you a lot.
I think so. I think that to be able to feel that kind of a father's love, a parent's love, is so impactful. And I can feel that my children, the moment I stop demanding, the moment I stop like, you need to be like this, you need to be like that, they felt it. They feel that all-embracing love. And that's a turning point in our lives.
I see.
Yes.
Great. Fantastic. What an amazing story. Check it out on the newspaper. If you can find it, DM me about it. And we're so excited to hear more
There was a time,
from Dr. Deibby.
There was a time before internet, 1997.
Google it.
I wanted to find that news too. If
Google it.
anyone works in the news office, it would be wonderful to have that news again.
TikTok, YouTube, you know what to do. Just now, one thing that Dr. Deibby brought up, right, that I actually really like. It's not about the part about being crashed by a train. I'm not gonna be part of a train wreck, thank God, no. But one thing I really liked was that when she stopped demanding from her kids. I mean, I'm still a son. Sometimes we have parents who are like Asian tigers. Sometimes can be lions or bears. Demanding like, woo, you gotta be like this, you gotta be like that. Make us more bold, make us more independent, yeah? But one thing she said was that when you stop being demanding, what happened when you stop being demanding?
Then the child can feel that we love them.
And all the children say, amen. So, doctor, why would you say that? And what is your reason behind it? And what should the parents out there know about this?
We should not put, you need to be like this in order for me to show you I appreciate you.
Okay.
Because that is a conditional love.
Okay.
how can you portray to your children that you love them unconditionally? Is to be with them, appreciate them, notice what they do, the changes that happens in their life, notice what they're liking, understanding them. It's like when you like somebody, you do PDKT, right? You do like you approach the person.
PDKT, bahasa, it means like getting close to someone, like a crush.
Yeah, it's like courting, right?
Courting, yeah.
Yes.
Courting.
So you court someone. So the same thing. I'm the parent. I court my kids. I court my kids by finding out what they like. Be with them. Spend time with them. Don't spend time with so many of them, but spend time one-to-one. And appreciate them deeply. What you do. What is your thoughts. And then they give me what they think about something. Don't say, hey, don't think like that. No, we can. It's like, wow, that's very interesting. You actually have a different kind of thinking compared to other people. Yeah, so this kind of situation will allow your child feel like, oh, my parents truly, deeply understood me. And they will start building trust. And then from the trust, then comes that understanding my parents love me.
Right. Well, what if kids that are, let's say, rebellious, kids that are, they don't do so?
Kids are not rebellious.
Where do you draw the line?
On nothing. They are rebellious because they are going through the same situation over and over and over again. Mom, I want to read this.
Example?
Oh, why you read this? You must read this one instead.
Okay.
Oh, Mom, I want to go with my friend. Why you go with that friend? Why you don't go with this guy instead? There's a lot of like the parents not listening. Mom, you don't listen. Dad, you're not listening. And then it accumulated. And once the time that your hormones started to peak, and then you have your courage, and then you started to rebel. But a rebellion doesn't just come like that. It's a process. But
what if I say, for example, let's say your parent tells you something that is a certain direction, give you a certain instruction, yes. but you disagree with what your parents say. Let's
exactly.
say, right?
If your parents give you instruction, your parents must know first what are the direction you're going for. If, let's say, I know you well and I know that you can cross from this floor and go to the 5th floor and find the shop that I want to tell you, will I give you the same direction? I won't. Right. So this is the thing why kids are getting upset, because their parents doesn't understand them enough and give them a direction on things they already know, or things the direction is totally different to their needs and to their interests. Or
perhaps, let's say, for some parents out there, for example, let's say if their kid has a certain idea, let's say now I'm a son, all right, and let's say now I have a certain idea that this should be done this way. Like this whole thing shouldn't be done your way. And so there is nothing per se right or wrong per se.
There's nothing right or wrong, but the child must go through their journey. If they do not go through their journey, they do not understand if they have failure, if they have anything to do with that. So that's the reason why, as a mother, I allow my children to make their own mistakes. I will not take that mistakes away from them that belongs to them, because that mistake is their stepping stone.
So would you say that if now your kid were to do something that disobeys you, let's say for example you told them forgive your enemy, for example, right? But they choose not to forgive. They choose to do things their own way. They have their own reasoning.
It is not disobedience.
If they choose to just,
for instance, I will my limits, and I will put a limit and boundary. What are these limits and boundaries? Is their safety and their health. So if their life is safe, if anything is here that is underneath, that they are still going to be won't be harmed, they can make their decision.
And so even if they were to disobey you, would you still provide for them in a sense, like financially?
Yeah, definitely.
Would you still be there for them?
Definitely.
Even if they have made you angry?
Yeah, definitely.
You will still be there.
Because the thing is that so when it comes to our kids with autism, they cannot tell you what they need. They cannot tell you what they want. A lot of them have throw tantrum without you knowing what it is. Then how can you tell them that you love them if they don't understand any of this? It's by really being with them through all these circumstances, and by allowing them to make mistakes, to as long as they are safe, they are okay.
Before we go, what are some of the tips? What are some of the things that you want to tell to the mothers out there that they should take away and should bear in mind from our podcast today?
Sure. I want to emphasize on the word sacrifice. Yeah. People say that, wow, you sacrifice so much, or you are such an amazing mother, or you are like supernatural. But the thing is that what I realized through my journey is that I do not sacrifice myself for my kids. I am looking after my kids. I'm doing everything that I could because I want to be happy. And I took all that responsibility and all that obligation into my own hand, and say that I can change my life. This is under my own, with my own strength. I want to make myself happy by providing for my children, by being loving to my children, by doing everything that I could to make sure that they are in the right track to be independent people. So I no longer have to go carrying all this very, very heavy burden, because I now step up and say that it is within my power. I want to do my very best for myself. So that gives me so much. Like, okay, I am no longer doing it for other people, I'm doing it for myself. Since I'm doing it for myself, I can be the best I could in everything that I do.
Really great time. And you know, we are in a YouTube video.
Right.
So I gotta say, and you know, before that as well, she got a song. You made a song, did you?
I sang a song, yeah.
You sang a song. I sing songs too in KTV. You can join me next time. If you want to hear her song, click the link down below, go and check it out, give her some love. And still, remember to like, share and subscribe to Mad Talk Singapore. And before we really go, Doctor, you had one last statement to say. What was that?
When parents change, children will change.
My parents, you better watch this episode. Thank God for Dr. Deibby. And Doctor, we will stay together. We'll see you again in the next
Singapura, not Tempura!
Who's that? Oh, it's you guys. Hey everyone, welcome and join us on this journey of Singapura, not Tempura, where we are your best companion, all things Singapura and beyond.
Deep dive with us into the heart of the Lion City, exploring the vibrant culture with a dash of Singaporean spice.
How about her? Good or not?
Share and subscribe.